Hi and welcome to DeFi Mum. This is Jenny, and with me I've got my husband, and today we're just going to check in with Zapper again to see kind of what has changed. We were both quite excited to see that our sushi had finally come in here under, as you can see, on the yield farming. That we were a bit plussed by that because it didn't turn up when we thought. Now it's there, both on the yield farming and as a asset and liquidity pools.
No, I think it's I mean, I think it's always good to just kind of check out what you've been doing and have a look and see what's going on. You don't always need to be very active and doing things. Sometimes it's just good to have a look back. And I think we're doing this in a very kind of laid back.
But we're doing it to learn, so we would look back, wouldn't we, to just see what's happening and to learn from it. So.
But I think it is interesting. Obviously, we're going through a certain sort of process of learning about things quite actively. So. But I think it's, when we started out, we basically had some ETH probably. That was about it. But then you can kind of start to see as you go through and use these different dApps, you can start to see, how these are being categorized and how different things are earning you, different amounts. And you start to get a bit more, I guess, of an overview of how these things fit together. I mean, this is still very early. We've done like maybe 3 dApps or something. But you can kind of start to see. So. Obviously, I guess what people care most about is kind of the top here. The is the kind of total assets in there. So we put a bit more value in there since we had at the beginning because gas fees are eating all up. Gas fees at the moment 51 Gwei, so still not too high, but still up there. So we can see here. I mean, there's other interfaces. Than Zapper, but Zapper seems to be the one that we're using at the moment, at least. So we can see here assets. So these are just the tokens that are just basically not doing anything. They're not locked into any other DeFi dApps. They're just sitting there. So obviously ETH is the main one, kind of the native token of Ethereum, and most of our activity has been on Ethereum. And then we have some Curve tokens. I can't even remember quite how we got those or why we got those, but anyway, we have some Curve tokens. And then this gets a bit more sort of interesting. So we've just done a video about Aave, which is one of these kind of savings and loans DeFi dApps, at least how I call it. So we just locked some synthetic USD, a stable coin. We just locked that into the Aave DeFi dApp as a kind of deposit to earn interest on. So we can just see here. So we locked in 50 of these tokens. So already we've got like a tiny little bit of interest already. So 0.0002. So that's actually earning, I can't remember, was it 27% interest a year?
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to change, but if we held this for over a year, we'd be looking maybe at getting that up to 70. We'll wait and see. And then a bit longer ago, we put some DAI in Compound. So we have this much smaller, $14.5 worth. We're only earning 3.7% on that now. So that's dropped quite a bit from when we put the money in.
Yeah.
But it's still the value there. But in both these cases, it's interesting that basically you take the DAI in this case and the SUSD in this case, and you lock them into these dApps, Aave and Compound, and but they give you a token back. So here it's saying this ASUSD is actually the Aave SUSD token. So it's a new token that they give you back.
Yeah.
And the same thing with DAI. So here it doesn't say DAI, it says DAI in Compound, and it has like the DAI logo with a little Compound logo on it as well. So it just kind of reminds you that it's kind of changed. You've changed. You've not got DAI anymore. You've got DAI, the Compound version of DAI. And to get the DAI back out again, we're going to have to withdraw it, and similarly here. So also we've done a little bit about yield farming, and one of the ones we did was we put some token value into a liquidity pool, and a liquidity pool is how exchanges like Uniswap and in this case SushiSwap work. So we took some tokens and we converted them to Sushi and ETH, and we put in this amount, which is at the time we did it was the same amount of value in dollars. So this is the same amount of sushi as is worth in ETH, and then this allows people on this DApp called Sushi Swap to either swap sushi for ETH or swap ETH for sushi. And we earn a little bit of the fees on that, obviously a tiny amount because we've only got $43 in there. But one of the reasons of doing that is we every Ethereum block closes, we get a little bit of this sushi token, and that's what we call yield farming. That's like a bonus payment we get. It may not always be there, but currently the people behind the Sushi Swap DApp kind of have this program where they're giving away sushi to encourage people to do things like put value into liquidity pools. So actually, this is the liquidity pools of Sushi Swap in terms of yield farming are pretty good at the moment. So we've only got a tiny amount, less than $43.50. We've already made $10 in terms of the sushi we've got. Now we will have
$0.10.
Yeah, I want 10 cents. Yeah,
not $10.
Did I say $10?
Yeah.
Sorry, okay, carried away. So with all these things, we will have to pay a gas fee to claim it. So with all these things, to get these deposits back, that you pay to go in, you pay to go out again. So for the amount of money we're putting in, this is massively uneconomic. But this is, as we've said, experimental. And we have our first thing we did. We've got comp. So the compound, the initial thing we did in compound, this DAI, we're earning a bit in this compound token. So actually 5 cents. So we're earning much more in sushi. We only recently did the sushi one, but we have got 3 times as much value in sushi as well. So and obviously the US dollar value of these is based on the price of the sushi token and the comp token. So this is the actual balance of the tokens that we can claim. But obviously, if compound went up to $1 million, then this that would be worth a lot more. So you're kind of dependent on what the value is. So yeah, I mean. Come, what do you think?
No, yeah, that's good. And I think it's good to look back, and I think Zapper is quite nice it makes it easy to see and understand what's going on.
Yep.
Particularly when someone explaining it. That's what I do. But it's good to just keep an eye on all these things, and this is nice because it organizes it for you really in a nice simple way.
Yeah, and you can always, if you want to go into more detail, there's always the history tab here, which basically shows you every transaction that you've done. So you can kind of see, if you've received things or sent things, you can always go and look at the Ether scan. So the actual, that very slightly geeky complex thing. It just, the one nice thing about a blockchain is there's an awful lot of data showing you what's going on. You can download like an Excel file if you really want to go into that level of detail. But I think I think you start to see how things kind of relate to each other a little bit more when you start to see it laid out in this way.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and just don't forget, if you want to ask us anything, just write it in the comments below, and we'll answer as best we can. Thank you very much, and see you soon.